Reported that a man about 6 foot tall with two blinking eyes stepped into the doorway and reached out with two claw-like hands and attempted to snatch her children. Welcome to Big G's Adventures. Today, my adventure, I'm headed to Johnson City, Tennessee, to the public library, and I'm going to comb through the microfiche and see what I can find on the Owens UFO incident. Just to give a little brief background, my pastor, Kenneth Thacker, and his wife Martha knew these people, and their names is Owens. I believe her name was Jean Owens, and her husband's name was Erwin Owens, and they were abducted in Bowmantown, Tennessee by a UFO. I'm going to see what kind of information I can find about it, because right now all I've got is secondhand knowledge about it, and so far I've not been able to find any information concerning it. So I'm headed to Johnson City, and maybe we'll be able to find something in the old newspaper article, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe my pastor told me that the story did make the newspaper, but I'm not sure it made any other publications. But we're going to go up there and try to find out something, and stay tuned and we'll let you know exactly what we find out. Well, I just left Greenville. I went to the Greenville Public Library. They don't have anything on microfiche anymore, and all their records, historical records, is up at the Elmer C. Cox Historical Library. And so I went up there, and I got a lot of newspaper clippings from there from the Greenville Sun. Greenville Sun's not digitized, so you have to go to microfiche in order to get any of that information. I mean, the Pascagoula sightings where Parker and Hicks both got abducted, it was at that same time, within a couple of weeks of that time frame of October 1973. So I went to the courthouse. The courthouse couldn't give me any records. They don't have anything unless somebody is actually charged in a crime. They said they wouldn't have any information like that. I went to the sheriff's department, and they were no help. I just don't think they even really wanted to fool with it. They said they didn't even carry those records anymore, but I think that the law requires that they keep those records on hand at all times. Now, I don't know about the best way to go about doing it. I think maybe I just have to file a FOIA request in order to get it, but I just don't know if it's going to be worth that, because it could take up to a year to even find anything back on it, and I don't want to wait that long in order to get this information out. There's a lot of information about everything that happened, and I'm going to be going over each and every one of those stories. So stay tuned. In October of 1973 would become one of the most remarkable months in the history of American UFO sightings. Across the country, police departments, newspapers, and military installations received reports of unexplained lights and strange objects. But one story emerged from the banks of the Pascagoula River in Mississippi would capture the attention of the whole nation. Now, not just this story, but the story of what all happened in East Tennessee is one of the main things I wanted to share with you today. But the Pascagoula thing happened, I think, on the 13th of October in 1973, but throughout, from the 13th all the way to the 18th, there was reportings of UFOs all over the nation. But just to give you a little bit of background, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker were fishing near the shipyard there in Pascagoula. And at that evening, darkness settled over the river, and a silence suddenly interrupted by a strange whizzing or buzzing sound, they said. A craft came down and appeared approximately 30 to 40 feet across, and two flashing blue lights illuminated the darkness. Before the men could run, there was an opening that appeared in the craft, and strange beings emerged. According to Hickson, the creatures were approximately 5 feet tall with pale wrinkled skin and appear to have no visible neck. Instead of ordinary hands, they had possessed appendages resembling claws or pinchers. Now, remember that because in the story that's in Tennessee, a lady reported where her children were, this creature tried to abduct her children, and it had the same type appendages with pinchers instead of hands. So we'll get to that in just a second. But Parker either fainted or lost awareness during the time that followed. Hickson, however, said that he remained conscious and completely paralyzed. 3 beings come out of the craft that were about 5 foot tall, and they like floated to them, and they got Dixon and Parker and both took them onto the craft. And that's pretty much the story about them. Now let's go to the story about the lady whose children were almost abducted. So Linda Green reported that a man about 6 foot tall with 2 blinking eyes stepped into the doorway and reached out with 2 claw-like hands and attempted to snatch her children. Mrs. Green, who lives in Watauga, this is, far east in the state of Tennessee. Yesterday, she was at home when she saw a copper-colored circular flying object hovering above the ground across the road from her house. Her son Junior and the neighbor Teddy Malone were playing in the front lawn when the object appeared. And the door opened and a man inside tried to grab the 2 boys, she said. The boys ran away from the invaders to the house, and the vehicle then soared straight up and disappeared, according to Miss Green. At least 5 people in that area, the Cripple Creek section of Carter County, said that they saw a similar object yesterday afternoon. This would have been, I think, the 14th of October, 1973. Miss Green, she said the circular colored spaceship about the size of a house on a hillside near her residence. She said it came near the ground and hovered several minutes and then took off straight up. This is going to coincide with another sighting that happened, I think, on the 15th and 16th and 17th of October. A deputy sheriff from Greene County, and from the town of Greenville. He was a Greene County deputy. His name is Jackie Bullard. He said he seen an unidentified flying object after he was called to a road, but it doesn't list exactly the road that he was on. I couldn't find out that information. It was approximately 8 miles east of Greenville. So I'm thinking it's going to be probably in the Chuckey area or in Bowmantown. He told the press at 10 p.m. that the object real close to the ground is being watched closely by 2 Greene County deputies, 2 constables, and many Greene Countyans. The object was seen for the 3rd night in the same position about 8 miles east of Greenville. The sighting coincided with the similar sightings in Carter, Johnson, and Hawkins County, and many reports of sightings in the Tri-Cities area. The Greenville Sheriff's Department described reports positioned directly beneath the object. Now, it looked like a big burning house is the way Bullard explained or gave details about the UFO, but he said it was really bright, blinding blue color. He said this thing was closer to the ground than an airplane could fly, and it could remain stationary, then moved up and down and from side to side. Several deputies had seen this in the same place for the last 3 nights. Deputy Bullard said at the same time of last night's particular sighting, he received a call from a landowner 5 miles west of Greenville, who reported he was fearful for leaving his house to get a closer look at the object between his house and his barn. Bullard said they had so many men out on that sighting that he was trying that from that time of 10:15 p.m. and on, They were getting all kinds of reports. Cigar-shaped flying vehicle came down near their car Sunday, forcing her car to just quit. She said the object hovered over the highway for several minutes, but she said it could have been like hours. She didn't even know. I've never seen anything like it in my life, she said. She said that the car engine stopped running and the tape player cut off when a beam of bright light from the object hit her car. Many people experience missing time and time slowing down when they have these occurrences. Okay, this last story is about a lady named Miss Owens. I won't give her first name because I really couldn't collaborate this story. I just know that it's a secondhand story from a man that used to be my pastor, and he's like a father to me. Him and his wife were really good friends of the Owens. Well, anyway, they were headed home one night, and on Bowmantown Road, when a UFO came over top of their vehicle and the vehicle quit running. Subsequently, the vehicle and them were transported some way or another into the craft. And this, they couldn't tell you even how long they were. They don't even remember getting back home. But here's the thing, it was so bad on Miss Owens that she ended up in Woodridge, a mental health institution, for several months. And I'm not sure what happened to her. I've not been able to find her since this happened back in 1973. But if anybody has any information, please leave a comment. Please subscribe and give us a like. I just wanted to share these stories from up here on top of the mountain about the things that happened in 1973 in Tennessee. I was 11 at the time, and I had an uncle. His name's Elbert Isley, who has passed away, and unfortunately I can't even ask him about it now. But at one time he was riding along with deputies, and I remember him telling me that they got a report out toward the airport outside of Greenville that some lights was hovering over the airport, and he went out there and he said, lo and behold, it was, and they could not explain what it was. But he said it was there for a few minutes, and then like supersonic, it was gone and like disappeared onto the horizon. But I want to thank you for staying with me this far, and share the video. We really appreciate you. Thank you.